Welcome to the Travel Ones podcast. Today, my guest is Mark Mackay. He's a country singer, songwriter, based in Nashville now, but really he's based wherever the road takes him.
Yeah, that's a good way to say that.
Self-proclaimed road warrior.
Yep.
How you doing today, Mark?
I'm good, man. Yeah, thanks for having me. I was before I moved to Nashville, I lived here in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And it still feels kind of like home to come back, you know. Such a beautiful day out there today.
For October, it's our summer.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Totally.
And then, I kind of feel that way about Tennessee. My daughter lives in Tennessee, outside of Knoxville, but I go to Nashville, and I have multiple friends out in Nashville now.
Yeah.
So when I go there, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a special place. It's crazy with Nashville. Like when you travel a lot, things change.
Yeah.
Everywhere, but not like Nashville. Nashville, you leave and you come back like 2 weeks later and you go, I swear that hotel wasn't
There's
there.
4 new cranes set up, and you're like, they're not the same cranes.
Yeah. Like I remember when they broke ground on the Publix grocery store near my house, and I remember thinking, oh, that's cool. We're going to have a Publix. And then it's like, I came in off the road this summer and I go, oh, we have a Publix. You know what I mean? It just happens so fast.
Well,
Yeah.
and then rebuilding the stadium.
Yep.
I mean, you got a lot going on there.
It's a scene out there right now for sure.
Out of all the places you've been to, what's been the most influential?
Yeah. I mean, it's probably Nashville, to be honest with you.
Without a place you lived at.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah, I'm a city guy at heart. So believe it or not, it's actually probably been Chicago, Illinois.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
There's something about, so I grew up in San Francisco and I lived here in LA. You're noticing a pattern there, it's all cities. And then I moved to Nashville, and I think what I love about Nashville is obviously, for obvious reasons, the songwriting, and it's Southern. It slows down a little bit, but there's an energy in Chicago where it kind of straddles somewhere between San Francisco and New York.
100%.
The people are nice.
Midwesterny.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like it's much bigger, but it's not New York big. You know, one of my great friends out there, Jim Peterick, he started the band Survivor. He wrote Eye of the Tiger and all those tunes. So I kind of look for excuses to go write songs with him, and we go try all these killer restaurants. And but that's, for me, like, those big cities are what actually inspire me to keep going. I feel like a lot of people like to go, to the beach where there's nobody around and they can just like sit there, and that's how they get in touch with themselves. And I'm not like that. I'm like, I like nightlife and vibrant restaurants and lots of people, and
See, it's interesting because I've been in basically LA 40 years now.
Yeah.
And then I travel a lot, North Dakota, South Dakota, Denver.
Yep.
Denver's a good town too, because you kind of get some of that niceness.
Yep.
But yeah, it's still got downtown.
And so Denver's been like a huge part of our band's identity. Like we used to play this venue out there called the Grizzly Rose, and they would
still there.
Oh yeah.
I was just there like 2 months ago.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
They used to put us up in this band house for like a week.
Yeah.
We really got to know that whole town, Rhino, and all the cool little areas. I have an entire sleeve tattoo. I got all of it done in Denver.
Okay.
And so we're there a lot. We just played the Paramount Theater there, actually. It was awesome.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were at the Grizzly people come in. They do a giveaway during the year or something.
Cool.
And so the winners get to come to NFR.
Oh, of course.
And get clothes and.
Man, I remember this. As a matter of fact, when we were playing there, I'm going way back, but we were playing there like one November, and they said something like, hey, by the way, what are you doing during NFR? Because we do this big party. And I think John Rich was coming or something. It was it was at his bars. Anyway, it was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, the Redneck. That's when Rivera was there.
Was there.
It's gone now.
Yeah.
But now we got Old Reds there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, Vegas has got quite a scene happening too.
It does. It's kind of it's strange to. Have you ever been there for NFR?
Oh yeah, we played it.
Yeah, because it's like I set up for 4 days, and then it's regular music, this and that, and then like the day of the rodeo, it's all country music.
Totally.
Wearing country shirts.
Totally.
Yeah.
It
and the day after, it's all gone.
Well, the thing that's funny about rodeos too is like. So let me back that up. So we played that new venue at the Cosmopolitan, the Chelsea.
Yeah.
We played that on our tour with Gary Allan during NFR. And I feel like that was really where I got a real glimpse of NFR. I've been there for other things, but what I was going to say is it's funny when a huge rodeo like that comes to town, like you could notice the people in their cowboy hats and their costumes if there was a Jason Aldean concert at the thing. Yeah. But it's not like the rodeo. That's like the whole culture moves into town. That's kind of what makes Vegas fun, like
it changes.
Totally. Because like think about the
F1's like 2 weeks prior.
Right. There you go.
And it's F1.
Right. And then CES in January. It's like everybody that's coming. There's a roofing trade show. There's all, and it's like the whole identity of the town changes. And I think that's just fun.
Well, we used to stay at the MGM, and they put inside the lobby. They have that big lion.
Yep.
And a black 8,000-gallon hat on it.
Yep.
It's just huge.
So funny.
And it's literally gone the next day because we're still there tearing down.
Yep. Does the MGM still have that property, the Signature? Have you ever stayed there?
I have. Multiple times.
Yeah. I always thought that was like one of the first of its kind that was kind of that get away from the Strip. I mean, you're on the Strip, but
it's like an extended
exactly.
stay. I mean, you have your own kitchen. Your own
Yeah. It's
Which
not.
we liked. We're there for 16 days.
Totally.
So.
Totally. I have memories of giving a lot of money away in that town.
I have a lot of memories of watching people lose.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of money.
Yeah.
We had a guy come through, and the MGM concierge goes, "Hey, this guy in his group put it on our tab." I'm like, "Whoa, really? Like anything?" He goes, yeah. So I'm helping him out. There's like 12 people. I helped the son out, and the son's like, "I don't know. Give me some boots." Like, "What do you want?" He goes, "I don't know. I could get some ostrich." He goes, "They're soft. They'll break in fast. You probably won't ever wear them. $800. We give him the tab and all that. I go, "What's the deal?" He goes, he lost like $2 million with us last night. So we're good.
Wow.
We're good.
I love playing blackjack.
Yeah.
And I feel like just instinctively as you get, the older you get, the less fun it is to lose that money, unless you're just totally rolling it. And then maybe it is fun. I hear about some of these guys that rack up these multi-million-dollar tabs. And I don't know, I guess maybe if you have the millions to lose, maybe it's
Bruno Mars.
Totally. Maybe it's still enjoyable. But, like I remember when I was like, before I was a musician, I'm in my early 20s and, we would go to Vegas. So another example, I used to work in the extreme sports industry. I was a sales rep for a ski and snowboard company. Right. So we'd do our annual show and it was like all these extreme sports junkies would take over Vegas, and I just remember like, blackjack is so much more than just getting yourself as close to 21 as you can. There's so much strategy in that game. But I remember it really got me one day. I remember going, I get it now. Like, there's all these other angles and it just became so riveting to me. And then I have this memory. I was playing in the Wynn Hotel. And it was like the first time that I was winning really big. And I was like playing with people who were winning really big. One of them was Shaun White, the snowboarder. And and his lawyer, I think, was with him. But actually, so let me take that back. I don't think Shaun was actually playing. I think his lawyer was playing. Shaun stopped by and said hi at one point. But we're all sitting there having this conversation, hundreds of dollars every hand. And in their cases, thousands of dollars every hand. You don't even know what time it is. Before you know it, you're like, what time is it? There's not a clock anywhere. It's 6:30 in the morning. We're up $10,000. Should we go to bed? What do you think? You know what I mean?
Or just keep going.
Yeah, or just keep going. And Vegas is totally set up to just make you keep going. You know what I mean?
100%.
So that's a wild town. That's another place. I feel like when I lived out here, Vegas was a little bit of what I just described to you was Chicago. Was a lot of I don't mean to make myself sound like a total weirdo using Vegas for that, but still, I love that energy. I still to this day, when we have a show that's announced in Vegas, I always think, let's go hit the Golden Steer Steakhouse the night before and let's play some blackjack and go shopping and enjoy it.
There's inside the Cosmo. There's a pizza shop. There's no name on it. It's literally a doorway. It's like on the 4th floor.
Is it right near the egg place? There's like a juice bar or something. It's kind of hidden.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
The pizza shop I only go to at night. There's no sign. It's literally a hole in the wall.
So fun.
You walk through and it's a long hallway.
So fun.
And you go, oh, there's the pizza shop and really good pizza.
Always sounds good.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, that's cool.
I love stuff like that.
There's a lot of speakeasies there now.
Yeah.
Like taco shops. I went into a taco shop.
Yeah.
And it was like, you go through this door and you're like, what?
Yeah. Although, it's funny. I've been reading. I don't know how long. I haven't. We played there this year. We always play there at least once a year, but it was much earlier in the year this year. I feel like normally we're there kind of more in the fall, but I feel like we're there in the spring. But I've been reading a lot lately that tourism has kind of slowed down in Vegas a little bit, and it seems like a lot of people that are just having reckless bachelor parties are going to Nashville now.
Wow, God, dude. My first trip to Nashville was like bachelorette party after on the buses.
Crazy, huh?
I'm like, what? And I didn't know. I'm like, what's going on? Like, and they're like, it's the number one spot for bachelorette parties in the country.
So funny.
I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
You want to? We were down in the Gulch, walking back to our place, and to our hotel. Middle of the day, there's 3 Amish girls walking, and they're in their full Amish outfits, right? They're on the corner, and we're at the light, and I'm standing right behind them, and a bus, one of the buses comes by, all women with a stripper pole on it, with a male stripper. He wasn't naked, but he was close to it.
Oh, man.
And the Amish girl's like,
Oh, yeah.
you can see the brain like, what am I processing?
What is
here?
going on here?
Yeah.
One of my favorite scenes with the bachelor parties, one of my best friends in town is a guy named CJ Solar, and he wrote Morgan Wallen's breakout hit Up Down.
Yeah.
And that's just so typical in Nashville. A lot of time, as anyone who's ever been there, you know, a lot of times you're sitting right next to somebody who's massively involved in some major star's career, and you wouldn't even know it, you know. But anyway, so CJ wrote Up Down. Well, he was walking to a meeting one morning, and one of those bachelorette buses went by, loaded with girls that had been drinking all day, you know. Yeah. And they were like, he just happened to have his phone out, and they were yelling at him like, "Hey, come party with us," or whatever, you know. And he was just ignoring them. So that, being as drunk as they were, they started kind of heckling him, you know. Yeah. And they were like, "Hey, why can't you have fun like us? Yeah. Like, why are you so, you know?
Why are you so uptight?"
Yeah, exactly. And they're playing Up Down on the bus. And it was the greatest piece of content he's ever put out. You know, he holds the camera and he goes, "When the party girls don't realize you're the one that wrote the song," they're singing too.
Partying
yeah,
too.
Totally. Yelling at you for being the...
That's a great story.
It was great. It was great.
I was just there in August? July. And we went to... Some of those same girls were in the pool. And so I go into the pool. My wife's getting 2 drinks. And she comes into the pool, and they're like, "Oh."
Yeah.
I'm like, really?
Well, I tell you, you know, just while we're on the Nashville topic, it is funny. Like, so I live in Nolensville, which is a suburb a little bit outside. And I mean, it's still very much Nashville, but it's like, takes me door to door probably 26 minutes to drive to my house. And that's because most of it's like country 30-mile-per-hour roads, right? But, you know, I don't really spend a lot of time on Broadway. There's events sometimes that we go to or whatever, you know, but it's like, I live a pretty vibrant life in Nashville. There's a lot of great restaurants, a lot of great barbecue, a lot of great recording studios we work out of, a lot of great stuff to do. And it always, there is, if I, you know, I don't want to be aggressive about it, but there always is a part of me that bothers me when somebody comes to Nashville and they go stand on Broadway for 3 days, drink till they can't walk, which, you know, God bless, I don't care about that. But
Vegas, same way.
Yeah, well, yeah, you know what I mean? And it's like, it just blows my mind that and then they leave, and that's their takeaway of Nashville. They go, "Man, you must have so much fun there." I go, "Yeah, I love it." And they go, You ever
What's
gotten
your favorite bar?
Yeah, you ever gotten caught on that third floor at Tootsie's? You know, I'm going, "Yeah, I don't know, man.
Not in a while."
Yeah, we're down in Franklin eating beautiful, you know, beautiful barbecue under the sunset.
What the winery down south?
Kix Brooks Winery.
Yeah.
Arrington Vineyards.
Yeah. We went to that place. It was just,
Isn't that cool?
There. You just sit up there and just go, "This works."
It's epic.
It's like a half hour south of Nashville.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more.
Growing up in California, that, you know, it's like anyone who...
Did you grow up in the city?
I didn't. I grew up in Sunnyvale.
Okay.
But I lived in the city.
Okay.
That was the first place that I moved. You know, I lived on my own, but it's funny when you live in California. It's like I go back. So I went to Homestead High School in Cupertino. Our claim to fame was that's where Steve Jobs went. And and Apple's campus is like right there.
Yeah.
So it's a huge tech universe there, obviously. It's funny, like every single person that went to high school in Northern California with me, all of them packed up and came to Southern California. And I think there was a little bit of the other way. I mean, I do think there's some San Diego folks that go to UC San Francisco or whatever. But it's like, you know, I went to University of Nevada, Reno because I wanted to go to journalism school. And I like skiing, so that kind of seemed logical. But I was like one of the only people that went very far away, you know. But it's like now...
It's just nothing.
Now...
My daughter went to Maryland.
Wow.
I'm like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, that's my biggest thing is from moving to Nashville is like we go and play in all these towns all over. And it's like when I moved to Nashville, I was really excited about Nashville. I didn't realize that I was going to be a very short drive from the Florida Panhandle, from Auburn, Alabama, from New Orleans, from Charleston, South Carolina, to, you know, I mean, I could go on forever,
places,
to Chicago. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's there's a whole nother world out there. It's probably my only regret, actually. If I could go do it all over again, I feel like I would have gone to one of those massive SEC schools that I didn't even know existed.
Gone to Vandy.
Could you imagine? They've got a football team now.
A good one too.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's like,
But I mean,
totally.
you drive by, like if you haven't been to Nashville, all of a sudden you're just driving around Nashville and you're like,
Oh,
Vanderbilt University.
I know, totally. Isn't that so
It's
funny?
like, what?
I know.
It's right there.
I know. Yeah. I'm happy for them. They're having a good run this year.
Yeah, they're not the doormat this year. I was just talking to somebody from Indiana, same way. IU's ranked number 2 in the country right now.
That's wild.
And they're like, they were a doormat for everybody.
Totally.
In the Big Ten.
Speaking of Indiana, they are the rowdiest music fans in the United States.
Yeah, it's on camera.
I'm telling you, trust me. I mean, we played with Steve Miller Band in what felt like just an open grassy field. And it reminded me of when we played in Indy with Gary, and when I played another show with Joe Nichols somewhere out there. We've played headline street fairs in there. I mean, but it's just, REO Speedwagon. We did a tour with REO Speedwagon through there. But every night that I go on stage, the minute the lights go black, I always keep one of my in-ear monitors out, because I can, before I walk out, I can just sense the level of restlessness of the crowd.
Yeah.
You know, how hard am I going to have to work tonight to really get everybody into it? But Indiana, dude, that's just like, I don't know what it is, but those people, they are just
through and through the whole state.
I would say so. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I think that is a sweet spot for live music.
Now I want to go.
Yeah.
You ever played Summerfest up in Milwaukee?
No, we had a great show in Milwaukee though, in downtown. That was a really, really cool spot down there. I haven't. I need to though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We call it Beer Fest.
Yeah, there might as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did play we played Country USA in Oshkosh.
Okay.
It was with like Keith Urban, and Maren Morris and a few folks. And yeah, same deal. Just that's a sweet spot of the country for.
You know what's interesting? Since you've played so many places,
Yeah.
you actually lived here.
Yeah.
I have friends that are in bands here.
Yeah.
And they actually don't like playing in LA because there's so many industry people.
Oh, yeah.
They get free tickets or comp
Oh, yeah.
tickets or whatever.
Yeah.
So they don't, like you said, you feed off the crowd, then they come out in LA and they're like, everyone's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, I didn't pay anything. I got comped.
Yeah.
Where are we going to dinner tomorrow?
Yeah, I know. I feel bad saying it on camera, but they're not wrong. You know, it's a special
Is it
level.
like that in Nashville too? Or is it
A little bit. Yeah, I don't think it's as bad as LA. LA is notoriously, and I love it here, don't get me wrong, but LA is notoriously kind of, I'm really cool. Who's this guy up here? Is he as cool as me? You know what I mean? 100%. And I agree with you. There's a lot of that. I feel like anytime you're one of the greatest videos, I wish I could find it, but one of the greatest videos I've ever seen on Instagram ever was John Mayer being funny, because he was the king of Instagram at 1 minute there, but he made a video where his A&R guy at Capitol Records was playing a gig somewhere, and John Mayer said, me acting like, and he flipped the script on it, and it was like his A&R guy at Capitol was up there on stage just having the time of his life, and it was like John just kind of sat there with a straight face, glaring at him. I thought that was genius. But anyway, there's a lot of that. It's tough. And then the other thing too is like, when you're playing for the industry, I love them. They're not very representative. They're not good representatives of what the crowds are like.
Yeah.
One of the things I think a lot of bands struggle with when you're trying to get off the ground, you want people to see how you do in front of actual fans.
Right.
The industry doesn't really want to give you that time of day until they really feel like it's worth seeing. And by then, most of the time, they've made up their mind that they think you're worth
one way or the other. Right?
You're not really proving anything. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it's like, I remember some of those shows we've played, like very early on, we played the show with Marshall Tucker Band at the Canyon Club.
Yeah.
And it was like, at the end of the show, it was like, I don't know why, everything just connected. I don't know if it was just our music matched with them or whatever, but those people stood up and gave us the rowdiest standing ovation. They were calling for an encore. We were like the no-name opener that no one even knew about, You would do anything to have an A&R guy from a record label there watching you, because that's living proof that you could do it, but there was just no chance,
Well, I think it's interesting because a lot of up and comers, I want to play Nashville, but when they get there, now they don't want to necessarily play Broadway anymore.
Yeah.
They might want to play the Ryman or the Opry, but
Yep.
Broadway's tough.
That actually, you know, unfortunately, I feel like someone would get mad at me for sort of saying the quiet part out loud, but that can be a kiss of death to your career. You know, if you're somebody who plays on Broadway all the time and you're just sort of playing the Broadway version of songs, which basically means you're playing it to cater to just a drunk audience. You're not always singing them perfectly. You're not always playing the parts. You know, I don't know. The business just doesn't quite take you seriously as an artist anymore.
Kind of weird that way.
So you have to be careful. Yeah. It's like there's two scenes. There's like the working musician scene, which is great. You know, some of those guys kill it down there. You know,
kind of researching you, it made me think of you covered Glenn Campbell, and growing up, I just knew him as a singer and on Hee Haw. I was like, I had no idea he was a guitarist.
Yeah,
like no idea.
And
part of the Wrecking Crew and all that.
Yeah,
so I saw the documentary. I'm like, that's Glenn Campbell.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So I was talking about Glenn Campbell one time with my dad, who's, you know, a mild classic country fan, like appreciates those guys, but it's not like it's his lifeblood. You know, he was always kind of a blues guitar fanatic, but I was telling him about Glenn Campbell. He's like, yeah. And I go, you got to see this.
Yeah.
And I play him a video, you know, and it's like he launches into this solo on Galveston. And you know, my dad had the same reaction you just said. You know, he just went, I had absolutely no idea. Which, you know, not to turn it into some grand discussion, but it's, you know, that's what's tough about our business is how the heck you get some of these messages out there. How did we all not know that Glenn Campbell was an unbelievable guitar player? Was it a stroke of luck that someone showed you? You know what I mean?
the Wrecking Crew documentary.
Right.
And I was all of a sudden I'm K-holing on YouTube looking at Glenn Campbell, you know, guitar
that's so
videos
funny.
And clips and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like that. I mean, he's unbelievable.
Well, even like, I might get in trouble now for saying this. You know, Chris Stapleton, beautiful singer-songwriter, known as a songwriter before he was famous, but he didn't write his biggest hit.
Right.
You know.
Right. He also, and yeah, by the way, I'm a humongous fan, obviously, but his moment that really sent him into the level he's at today was Justin Timberlake jumping up with him at the, you know, it's funny. Like that's the hardest part of this. I would consider myself to be like a pretty hard worker. I mean, for years there, we were playing hundreds of shows a year and none of them in the same place. It's not like it's not like our
residency.
Oh no, my God. It was the worst routing, but I just, you know, anyone who wanted us to play, I was so honored to do it. We were going at all costs, you know, but even for somebody who's like a hard worker and I've got a lot of relationships in the business, the hardest part of this is catching the lightning of all those things hitting at the same time. You know, it's not a coincidence that these artists that go on to headline Coachella also have a massive record drop 2 months before they play Coachella. And then they play the Late Show right around, you know, again, it's just all, there's so much coordination involved to make it hit to the point that
and then there's
you
different levels, right? I mean,
right.
You know, Stapleton, everyone knows Blake, but then there's a whole bunch of great artists that if you're a country fan, you know, but they haven't crossed over.
Right. You want to hear the story about the first time I met Blake Shelton?
Sure.
We played Lake Tahoe with him.
Okay.
And
it was Lake or?
Okay. So we played the Harvey stage in South Lake Tahoe, and it was kind of a stressful day because at that time, it was certainly might not have been the biggest crowd we had ever played for, but it was certainly the most like relevant, high profile crowd. You know, like at those levels, a lot of times Spotify people are hanging out backstage and celebrities are there just because why not?
So like this is not the mullet Blake Shelton.
No.
Okay.
No.
So after the mullet.
Yeah. Actually, what's funny about it is like that was one thing I noticed about that show was it was sold out. I think that's not a huge amphitheater, like I'm guessing probably 12,000 people, but cool. That's and it feels big. Yeah.
All the small artists just went 12,000 is not that big.
Well, I'm just thinking like a few weeks later, we were lucky to play with McGraw in front of like 35,000 and it's nuts. But with Blake, so it was a great amphitheater. And then like that day, I think Justin Timberlake or somebody was coming. So security had really tightened up around the backstage and stuff. Anyway, I go out and I play my show and And we weren't very good that day, if I'm being totally honest. It just, you have an off day sometimes, but it was fine. It was still a great experience. And when I was done, I was like, I kind of just want to go home. I don't, I was just done. It was fine. And then I was like, I should really try to say hey to Blake. I've never met him and he's a huge star and cool to get a picture with him, So my manager at the time was really close to them. And I said, hey, I don't want to be annoying, but you think maybe I could meet Blake, And he's like, yeah, of course. Let me just go talk to his tour manager, So he comes over to me and he goes, Blake said, just hop on up on the bus, man. He's psyched to meet you. He thought you were great or something, I'm like, okay. So here I go. I walk over, I open this tour bus and I had never been on one before. So, it's like, you have to pretend like you've been there before,
And you're inside, you're going, oh, that's cool.
Dude, and I'm walking from one end of the tour bus to the other, and it's all actors, all celebrities, because the celebrity golf tournament was in town.
Oh, at Edgewood.
Yeah, exactly, at Edgewood. Yeah, I love that you know all these places. So anyway,
I lived in State Line.
Oh, there you go. So to wrap the story up, I'm just kind of like, okay, dude. So I get to Blake back there, and I go, hey, dude, and he goes, hey, man, and he's exactly like you'd expect, And he pours me a drink, and we're talking, and he goes, how was it out there for you? And I go, good. And right then his tour manager comes up and goes, hey, Blake, those 2 NFL coaches want to come on. Is that cool? And Blake goes, I told those guys, get on here. I don't know what the issue is, And so this was in like 2019.
Okay.
Or maybe 2018, one of those years. So on comes Mike Vrabel and Matt Nagy. Nagy's just taken over the Chicago Bears. Vrabel's just taken over the Titans.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the Tennessee Titans. So they come walking on, and I'm going, I'm just thinking, this is just insane that I'm just sort of casually sitting. And they come right on and they say, hey, and then they see, and Matt Nagy from the Bears sees me and he goes, hey, Blake, nice to meet you. Oh, hey, Mark, dude, I just saw your show, man. Unbelievable guitar solos. This is like, you were just incredible, man. And Blake leans over, he goes, Matt, Mark's a huge Chicago Bears fan. And you see Matt Nagy's eyes just light up, and he's like, oh, really, man? And Blake just goes, no, nobody's a Bears fan. I'm just sitting here like, he's just meeting these guys. I'm just meeting these guys. It was like, he's so funny like that. He's so off the cuff. It was fun.
Do you think, do you think he was like that before, or does not worrying about money, not worrying about fame and all that anymore makes you kind of relax?
I think a lot of the country stars, Blake included, that are the superstars, I think you'll find they're the exact same person today that they were years and years ago. You know?
All the ones I've met, same way.
Yeah. I don't think if you're not genuine in our world, I don't think you know.
There's a couple.
Maybe genuine's not the right word. Maybe what I mean to say is authentic. But him specifically, I agree with you.
40 years ago, 39 years ago, I got invited on a tour bus. I won't say his name. And my friend was friends with the band, and so we go to the hotel. I'm like, this is cool. I'm 19, 20, can't drink. And it's at Universal Amphitheater, which is gone now.
Yeah.
And then we saw him down at the next. Anyways, we go on the tour bus. We ride the bus over to the amphitheater. The singer's not on the bus with us.
Okay.
He comes separately.
Okay.
I'm like, that's cool. I get it. We go there. I go into the green room. No, he's not there yet. I go in the green room. I'm like, and I'm only like 19, 20. Wolfman Jack, Waylon Jennings. And I'm like, what's going on? Sit down, P. Yeah. And everybody was super nice. I mean, just like you just said, super genuine. Just Wolfman Jack. I'm like, oh my God, my dad would be freaking out right now.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, we grew up watching Midnight Special and the whole thing, right?
So fun.
And so the opening act finishes. The band gets up. I'm like, he's not here yet. They go up. They're on stage. They're doing they're playing now. The opening kind of crescendo. I'm like, I don't see him. And all of a sudden you hear like a rustling. And I'm like, I turn and he walks out of a car, walks on stage. Hey, everybody. And I'm like, whoa, like he just walked on. Dude, he got off stage. The band's still playing. Gets off, gets in the car and leaves.
Yeah. Isn't that stuff impressive?
And I'm like, we didn't even meet him.
Yeah. I had an experience like that with Keith Urban when we played a festival in
so you can say the names.
Oregon.
I won't say the names.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, it was in his, it just blew my mind how,
It's a different world.
yeah, how much that the whole operation was already running and the band was playing and the lights were flickering and he just kind of got escorted out of the SUV and a guitar thrown on him and out to hundreds of thousands of people. It was pretty fun to watch.
It's pretty trippy though.
Yeah.
Like,
way trippy. Way trippy.
It makes sense. Like he wants to get out of the arena area before the crowd is out.
Yep.
So he's beating the traffic.
Yeah. I also feel like, there's a lot that can happen in your day when you're traveling. As we all know, that can like derail your mindset.
Well, I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
Okay. So like accidents, traffic, whatever, wife yelling at you, whatever it is, right? But when I get out and I have to make my sales call, like that,
yeah,
you go blank and you go do your thing and then you back in the car and
yeah.
Is that the same way for?
Oh yeah. As a matter of fact, you could be totally exhausted.
Yeah.
And just like all day, just going, I can't even, but for some reason you go out there and
it changes.
Yeah, it's like, it is. I used to joke with when we were like first hitting the road where I was kind of doing everything. We had no help at all. We didn't have like gear that allowed it to be more of an easygoing thing, I used to feel like it was kind of a Superman type deal. Like I was getting up there just running around, plugging things in, but it was like 5 minutes before we go on, I had to just disappear real quick and get your game face on, change your clothes, and then you walk out there like you're a different person.
I'm a rock star now.
Totally. It's so funny. And the crowd never sees any of that early stuff,
Ever.
There is an artist who I won't name his name that's huge that we played with last year. When they sent us the tour info, they told us you're not allowed to make eye contact with him. And I have a lot of friends. He's big, majorly famous.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of friends who know him, and I joked about that. And they said, "Man, he's a great guy. I'm sure he's going to be super cool to you." I never met him. I didn't care. It doesn't matter. That's no big deal. But the more that I got to watch, I never made eye contact with him, but I did see him. I did, and I watched how the crew talked about him, and I could tell that it's not, he wasn't a jackass. He wasn't doing it to be entitled.
The system.
He's just, it was a system of his jet landing and the bus taking him over to the venue. But more than anything, I could picture some idiot walking out to him as he's on his way to the stage saying, "Hey, I met you. Can we get a photo?" And that might derail the whole show. Yeah. So I get it. I appreciate when artists can say that. I'm not one of them, but I
interviewed Emmett Smith, right?
Yeah.
He's been famous since he was 17.
Totally.
And he's in his mid 50s now.
Yeah.
I can't appreciate being world famous for 40 years.
Yeah.
Like I can walk through an airport no problem.
Totally.
He can't.
Totally. Totally.
So I see that side of it.
Yep.
But at the same time, I'm kind of like,
There's some artists that we've toured with, like that when we travel with them, like I'll play golf with them or something during the day, or I become very desensitized from the fact that they're as famous as they are. But then like you go certain places and you realize how different that world is for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just that constant, everybody's looking at you.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to figure out an angle of how to talk to you, and you can feel it.
Yeah.
And then obviously here in Los Angeles with celebrities, it's a spectacle of, sneaking people,
most of them alone. I'll tell you my one story.
Yep.
As a traveler.
Yeah.
I was going to Houston to open up a store. And on my travel days, like I was in between, I like come home for a day. I got to get the car fixed. I got to get the registration. I got to get the smog check. Dentist, right? So I go to the dentist. It's a travel day. So I go, what do I care?
Yeah.
And they numb me up and do what they got to do. So I don't have to talk. I'm at LAX in a United line. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm still swollen. It's Mick Mars and Nikki Sixx.
Oh, wow.
Motley Crue. And I'm like,
yeah.
I got to say hi.
Yeah.
So I went up and said
hi.
Hi.
Good for you.
And that's exactly what it was. And I'm like, man, whatever. I said hi to him. Nikki was cool.
Yeah. I've never met him personally. There's a bunch of guys that I've done stuff with who are really tight with him. He's like living in Jackson Hole, Wyoming now.
Yeah, he's out.
And he loves it out there. And they love having him out there.
Well, it's like Franklin. I mean, look at all the people that live
I know.
south.
I know.
It's nuts.
Yeah, it's wild.
Because Tommy Lee's got a house, I think, outside of Franklin.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Because Sammy Hagar was doing his interviews, and I'm like watching, I'm like, Frank, what?
man, it's a good place to live. It's
It's beautiful.
it is beautiful. I know there is something very beautiful about. Like I feel like the number one thing everybody talks about in California is always the weather, and a lot of times it's the beach, And I grew up surfing, and I met my girlfriend. We've been together for like 100 years. I met her working in a surf shop.
Oh, she's old. I'm gonna let you cover that one later.
It's funny. I say that because for some reason we're not married, and everyone's pointing a gun at me all the time.
I know who to blame.
Yeah, I know, right? So we, like we both grew up by the beach and by the water, and that breeze that comes in every night that you take for granted that kind of cools everything down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And anyway, it was just funny. Like when I moved to Nashville, it's like that's like everybody's first question. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like when I lived in Los Angeles, the amount of days that I had time to drive to the ocean, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't how I lived in Hollywood, so it wasn't happening. So I probably see the beach more now because we dip down to the Florida Panhandle there. Have you spent any time down there, 30A or any of that stuff down there?
No.
Oh man, that Emerald Coast. If you left Nashville, you drove straight through Alabama, you would run right into the Gulf side of the water.
I opened up Port Arthur. I've been to Port Arthur and Beaumont.
Yeah, cool.
And then Lake Charles.
Yeah, okay. So that's a little more.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, which is amazing. Yeah, I mean, there's some stretches of beach down there. I could text you a picture and you'd think I was in Jamaica.
Yeah.
I mean, just clear white sand. You'd see right through the vibrant blue water.
And you're like, I'm in Alabama
wild.
or Louisiana.
I know, totally.
Yeah.
Here it's bonkers. But anyway, my point is I kind of thought I would miss the beach deal, but I really don't. I see it all the time.
I was going to say, there's so many people that live here and they don't see it either.
Right.
It's like, well, then
right.
Why are you paying all the taxes?
Yeah. I know. I remember when I was moving there, like to take a U-Haul from like Colorado or
right down the 40.
But to take it here was like $500.
Yeah.
To take a U-Haul from here to there was like $5,000 because everybody was leaving.
Still happening.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my daughter and my son-in-law, before they had kids, both got laid off during COVID. So they literally flew into Nashville, rented a car, drove around Kentucky, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Picked a spot. And went,
let's just do that.
Home.
That was probably one very wild thing that happened during COVID. Like, everybody kind of started trickling out to explore because they were stir crazy, and they wandered into places like Boulder or Denver, Colorado, or Bozeman, Montana, or
Jackson Hole,
or Sioux Falls, South Dakota, or some of these places, and they went, man, I don't know, man, my quality of life is way better. Yeah.
Idaho grew. Idaho was like, no more Californians.
Yeah, I was there yesterday. The place is on fire. Yeah, yeah.
That's the one. When I go to rodeos and different events around the country, and I want to say I'm like from Arizona or something because that's where I was born.
Oh, really?
Because they hear California and they're like, it's like, no, really, we're not all that way.
I have to go on Fox News tomorrow, and I'm intrigued to see what questions they're going to ask me about California. I can feel it coming already. It's always a talking point because just being from. I think a lot of people are like fascinated that I'm like from California, but I like country music.
I told you, I sat. Well, he was a couple aisles up, but Gary Allen, because he's from Orange County.
Yeah.
And so we were on the same plane going to Denver. I was going for work, and he was going to go play at the Grizzly, I guess.
Yeah.
Or not Grizzly, one of the other places. But I was like, it happens.
Totally. Yeah.
California's a big place.
Big place. Big place. Good place. Special place, It's one of a kind. But yeah, it's, I do think like, I don't know, I have this conversation with my parents a lot because I feel like they're both not quite as adventurous as I am.
Are they still in the South Bay? Okay.
Yes. Well, no, they're in San Luis Obispo area.
Oh, so, okay.
My sister lives up in Petaluma.
Yep,
and my sister just had a kid. And so that always kind of anchors the family a little different because of that, But yeah, I always kind of tease my parents like.
But they're in Slow. I mean, I have really good accounts up there.
I love Slow, but it's a little bit in the middle of nowhere for all of us to go visit,
But
yeah,
they got it like country music's huge there.
It is huge. We played a show with Billy Currington at Avila Beach.
Yeah.
Dude, there was like like
That's a good spot for him.
6,000 of the prettiest people you've ever seen in your entire life. Like my guitar player Jeff walked out there and he was like,
"Excuse me."
Oh, it was unbelievable. Yeah, yeah.
Well, because we have Coachella.
Yeah.
We have Stagecoach.
Yeah. Oh, you have a full scene out here, dude.
Yeah. We in Redondo we had the Beach Life Festival, and then they had a country festival.
Right.
For 2 years, I guess.
Yeah, I played Driftwood when it was down there in San Clemente.
Yeah.
Or Dana Point.
And they have a place in Huntington, right on the sand.
Awesome.
You can go
Yeah.
there.
Oh, Boots on the Beach or something. Yeah.
Like
There's a lot of that happening, man. It's cool. There's a good scene. California is a very, very good market for country artists. I guess I mean that in the context of those that have careers that are firing, come out here and make a lot of money. I don't know. I don't know much about the local scene in some of these places anymore.
There's a couple of Desert 5 hotspot.
Cool.
In West Hollywood.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't been to it yet, but
yeah, it's supposed to be super cool.
Yeah, all my friends are like, you gotta go. I'm like,
totally.
Yeah, I'm traveling.
Yeah, I have like things to do, airplanes to get on.
Yeah, busy. How many days of the year are you on the road right now? Not performing, but actually on the road.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. How many days are in it? How many? 365 in a year. What's 86% of that?
A lot.
That's how much I'm on the road. Yeah, and it scares me a little bit because I'm so used to constantly like.
I'm with you.
Yeah. So
COVID killed me.
Yeah. So like, here's an example. We just played Denver and Kansas last weekend. And before we played Denver and Kansas, I had a press thing I had to do in Reno, Nevada. So I flew to Reno, Nevada. I did the press thing. And then I decided to drive to Denver because it was just sort of easier and it just felt kind of cool to be out on the road. I love driving. That is one thing I don't get sick of doing. So a lot of times if something's 12 hours away or something, I'm like, I would rather just get in my truck.
I'm the same way.
Just listen to some great tunes, catch up with people on the phone, listen to my recordings and come up with ideas of things to change, like stuff we're working on or whatever. So I love driving. That being said, we do Reno, Denver, Kansas. Then we do a special event in Denver. And then my wonderful publicist, who I love to death, tells me that we really need to update some photos for Christmas. So I fly home to Nashville and I do some stuff in the studio one day and then I do the photo shoot.
Yeah.
And then I hop on a plane the next day and I go to Boise for something. And then that brings us to today. Yeah. I flew into LA from Boise and I'm doing this with you and I'm doing something tomorrow. And then I fly back to Idaho to play the next show the next day. This is never ending. And it's like this all year long. And I love it. I wouldn't do it if I didn't love it. But I worry about the day that I potentially can't do that or it isn't the right thing to do anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just, even when I'm totally exhausted, and that doesn't happen very much. There's like 3 times a year where I go, man,
I need a break.
I need a break.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But that lasts for like a day and a half. I go home and I love grilling on my Traeger at home and I love just like watching TV. It's cool, but then it's like,
I should be doing something.
Halfway through the next day, I'm like, where are we going?
Yeah.
And so anyway, that's one of those things that always, kind of spooks me a little bit. Like when you get really addicted to just being go all the time,
When COVID hit, I was like, what do I do?
Right.
Because if I'm not on the road, I in my head, I'm not making money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was just kind of the reality. It's
like,
so I'm like, oh man, hello.
Totally.
All my stores are closed.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Yeah. Our family has a little a cabin in Tahoe that my parents have had for a long time, Truckee.
Yeah.
And during the pandemic, I was in Nashville for most of it. And then when it kind of started to loosen a little bit, I decided to just go up there. And I took all my recording gear with me. And I was writing songs over Zoom with people back home. And then we were like making demo parts and sending them to each other and building songs over the, that way. And it was really fun. But it's interesting, like the little shack of a cabin next to us has never really had anybody in it. Well,
all of a sudden this
guy buys the house and I run into him one day. And I've been kind of hanging out in that area for a long time, so I know it pretty well. And I see the guy, I go, hey man, it's the first time I've ever, he goes, yeah, we just bought it. I go, oh, cool. Where are you from? And he's like, I grew up in Chicago and I'm a teacher down in the Bay Area, But I've always wanted to live up here in the mountains, man. Like, I go, well, cool, you know? And he's like, so I'm just so stoked, dude. Like now we can be remote or whatever he does now, which maybe he wasn't a teacher. I can't remember. I think he was a teacher. Maybe his wife was a teacher. Either way, he was basically like, yeah, thanks to this pandemic, man, I finally get to be up here in the mountains. I go, that's cool, you know? And it was like every day at 6 a.m. It was like almost like it was an act. It was like every day at 6 a.m. I'd hear like the chainsaw fire up. And it was like, he'd just be like sitting out on his deck with like his Yeti cup with the coffee, just kind of hanging there with a chainsaw. Like, I'm a mountain man, you know? And then it snowed like 6 feet that year or something, you know? And it's like he was gone, sold the house, couldn't hang it all. You know what I mean? Went right, like just gave up on the whole thing, you know? One day.
The first time I ever, Tahoe was the first time I ever drove sideways on a road.
Gnarly, isn't it?
The black ice. I was on the Nevada side.
Yep.
And I came around the corner and it was sunny, clear.
Yep.
Hadn't snowed in a couple days. I'm like, cool.
That's when it'll get you.
And I'm just like going straight down sideways. I'm looking at I'm like, oh my God.
Did you hit anything?
Yeah. The wheels caught.
Yeah, good.
Straightened out.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, the only other place where I experienced that, because that snow in Tahoe is so heavy.
Yeah.
That Sierra Cement, as they call it, is such a different issue. But you know, the other place is driving Interstate 80 through Wyoming in the wintertime. Yeah. That's a death wish. I mean, I remember one time, like, it was like, we're crawling along and Highway Patrol is basically escorting traffic through this snowstorm. And it was like, you hit the brakes and all of a sudden there is no way to stop. Yeah. You have to manage never stopping. Exactly. Where you're going to slide. That's terrifying.
I did that going up to Tahoe.
Oh yeah.
My parents lived in state. They lived in State Line too, but more up the hill towards Heavenly. And I'm going to go stay with them. I lived in Sparks, Ralph McCarran, right by the Western Village.
Yep.
And I'm going up the hill and I'm like, nope. Like, I'm following a snowplow.
Ain't happening.
I still can't see.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I just U-turned and called when I got home. So
yeah.
Didn't make it up this weekend.
Wild. Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah.
It's brutal. Yeah, it's driving up there is no fun. It's
Wyoming was the same way. I went to Gillette for the high school finals.
What time of year were you there?
June.
Okay, so not too terrible.
It was pretty terrible. It was my first ever tornado warning.
Gnarly, huh?
We're at the arena and I'm inside and I'm selling and I'm like, what's the siren for? You know, it's a tornado warning. I'm like, do we have to go? Like, and they're like, well, we'll see. Well, you know, we'll check. No, you'll be okay. And I'm like, oh shit, you know.
Valerie, my 100-year-old girlfriend, has a funny story about that. The very first time she came to Nashville, she went for a run that afternoon and she was like running in a park and all of a sudden this siren was going off. And she was like going for a run before the storm came in, but having no idea that it was potentially a severe storm. It's just not in the language here, you know. And she always says, she was just like, yeah, it's the weirdest siren I've ever heard, you know. And then it's like she gets home and we turn the news on or something. And it was like, you know, seeing tornadoes everywhere. She's like, oh.
See, here we just have earthquakes and there's no warning for it.
Yeah.
There are now though. That's kind of weird.
Really?
Yeah. We had a one hit down south a little bit, and I heard the beeping. It came on the phone, like an early warning, and it was like 10 seconds before it hit.
Wow.
And all of a sudden you're like, oh shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've only, you know, the big earthquakes hit when I was a kid when I was up there in San Francisco. So I sort of remember them, but I don't consciously remember.
That was pretty sketchy.
Yeah.
Because I lived in Reno at the time.
Really?
Yeah, and my
when were you in Reno?
91, 92.
Did you ever go back there?
I haven't been back in quite a while.
Do you remember the last time you were there?
Probably 15.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's where I went to college. I have like a very special. I have a very special relationship with Reno. Yeah.
The football coach, his son is our rep. He lives in Reno. So,
oh wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. JD Young, and he was the UNR, not JD, but his dad was the UNR coach for a long time.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And then, yeah. It's it's just like you got good stories from everywhere.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
What's on the bucket list as an artist?
I feel like we're kind of in this, we're in this transitional phase right now where we've spent a lot of time on some really great tours with some much bigger artists that we're like really grateful for, you know?
Yeah.
And we've like loved every minute of it. But it's time for us to sort of energize our fans out of that mix now,
Make
you
the
know?
headliner.
And be the headliner, which is like, you know, the music industry is just like you climb a hill and you're like, we did it, you know, and then you're like, congratulations, man. And then starts like the next hill and it's just, so it never ends, you know. But where I'm going with that is I think the bucket list is to try to keep hammering the country in a very different capacity now, you know. I mean, we already play some headline shows, but I think it needs to be a little more of a lot of that stuff, you know.
What makes the difference to that?
You mean what's different when you're going in as the headliner?
Well, I mean, so if you're the headliner, it's the pressure's on you to sell the stadium. You know, your opening acts are like, oh, this is great. I'm gonna open up for Mark.
Yeah,
cool.
Well, I think I remember like when I first started, when we would get an opening gig, I would think to myself like, oh yeah, cool. We don't have to do anything. Like we're just gonna like show up. There's gonna be but then you quickly realize that's not the point. A lot of times the reason you're getting the opening slot is because
you're bringing in your
people think you're bringing some fans, or you're at least trying to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, it's like what's involved in my day to day on like, say we're touring with Gary Allan, for example. We do our own supplemental marketing. We work with those promoters. But the main infrastructure is already there. Gary's already, you know, and they've already started the promo part of that. And then I can't really do any major meet and greet type stuff because Gary's selling those packages and the people are there to see him, you know.
So are you not allowed to?
I just think it would be, I don't know if I'm not allowed to. I just kind of feel like it would be awkward almost, you know, like, yeah, I don't know. We probably should. But I feel like as a whole, I feel like my job is to, and you know, and we do have more and more fans that show up to these, and a lot of because I'm talking about Gary Allan because that's the tour we've kind of been on this year, but a lot of his fans have really embraced us, and then they kind of start helping promote both of us, and they're excited to buy merchandise from both of us, and that's cool. But you're still kind of waking up in that mindset that it's kind of like it's my job to go out there and keep building and warm those people up for Gary.
Yeah.
And, you know, we play for whatever that is, 45 minutes or an hour. And, you know, we have to set up a certain type of rig that can come off the stage really quick. Yeah. You know, when you're a headliner, you have to think
everything's stayed in there.
And how do you come up with a show that keeps people really engaged for a longer amount of time, you know?
I saw Luke Bryan's residency in Vegas during the rodeo, and that was a headlining show.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he didn't have an opener.
Oh yeah. Evening with.
It was just him.
Yeah.
And it was like, and he went for hours.
Yeah.
But he talked to the crowd. He's very personable, joking, talking to people and all that.
Well, so like we were playing a show in Grand Junction this summer. So here, actually, this is a great example. So we played a great show with Josh Turner in Grand Junction. Right. And then coincidentally, about 2 months later, that Gary tour started and we played with him. So now we had played 2 big shows.
Yeah.
So it was time for us to do our own. So there was a club that booked us as the headliner, and it was great. Some people showed up, and it was a really fun night. But I'm so in the groove of doing our kind of like, my job is to fire this crowd up before the thing, that now all of a sudden we've got more time to spread out. We can do more things. We can try more things. And I'm being totally honest. There was like a point there where I was like, it wasn't like, oh, wow, we still got a long way to go. It's not that, because we got plenty of material, but it was like, how do I make this more interesting? You know what I mean? Like, you know, like if you paid to go see, I went and saw Def Leppard this summer. Like there was like a moment where even they like went out to another stage with acoustic guitars and they did a little set, little things like that, right? You know, that's like how you think as a headliner. Like, how can we break this up? How can we change it? So it was like on the fly, we have a microphone that I could talk to that goes into the in-ear monitors of the other band. And so on the fly, I was like, hey guys, I want you to just dip off the stage for a little bit. I'm going to do something acoustic, and I'm just going to try to kind of break it up a little bit. And I played a new song that I don't think they had even heard yet. It was something I had just written, you know, hey guys, I want to share this new song with you. And as crazy as it is, we'd been rocking out before that. People were into it, but I feel like that was kind of the moment where like I started to realize that like that was where the engagement kicked in. So then I was like, I'm going to go do something on the piano now. So I go over to the piano and I played another song, and And then I was like, okay. And I was like, hey, Jeff, who's my guitarist, and Jeff Marshall, my guitar player, the guy's unbelievable. He plays for the Alan Parsons Project and just an amazing player. So inspiring to watch. And I go, hey, Jeff, get out here, And I'm telling the crowd, and this is on it. I wasn't a showman thing. It was the truth. I'm telling the crowd, I go, guys, so Jeff's like this unbelievable guitarist. He's never played this song with me. But hey, Jeff, we're in the key of E.
Yeah.
He's like, okay. And the crowd's kind of laughing and they're getting their phones out, and I played Desperado by the Eagles. And Jeff just like followed along and played these riffs and like we had him. But it was like it took
That's
sort
cool.
of that moment to like it took something different to
You weren't just playing a song to open.
yeah, exactly. Like we don't have the time to spread out like that when and I don't know entirely that it's my job. I don't know how I'm sure most artists would let me do for the most part whatever show we wanted to play, but that's not what you're there for as an opener. Yeah. So that's part of it, is trying to like now someone is purchasing a ticket to see you.
Yeah.
How do you do things, whether it's lighting cues or it's different set list changes? Like one of my good friends like does a part in her show. She plays more like intimate solo stuff, but she'll like have people put song titles in a hat. And like she'll like write a song on the fly. But again, it's all engagement, So anyway, that's really it. Is we need to kind of harness that in a little bit.
And you're beyond proficient at guitar.
Thank you.
And excellent at the piano. So I mean, I think it would be great for the fans to see you just break out and do things.
I feel like that's the other thing as being a headliner is like, for the most part, you go out to when you walk out to open for REO Speedwagon and there's 5,000 people standing there. Yeah. A monkey could entertain those people. I mean, you'd have to.
They're waiting for.
Yeah, you'd have to be not good or unprofessional or boring.
Which could happen, but.
Yeah, sure. But for the most part, it's teed up for you for success. I think that being a headliner is so much about knowing who you are and what you do, and that's not all. That may not always be like the bands that you like as a fan. Sometimes like. If I'm a big fan of Motley Crue or Bon Jovi, that isn't really me, even though I love those guys. So what Bon Jovi does that makes people, I could necessarily do that same thing and it wouldn't come over the same way. Yeah. So I have found that like, anyway, to circle this back here, I'm doing the weave, but to circle back to your guitar and piano comment, it's like, I think that's kind of my thing. I really enjoy raw music like that. And so I think the idea of sitting down at a piano and playing a song that you've never written before or something like that, never played before is fun.
I'm going to sound completely naive. I didn't know Keith Urban was that good at guitar.
Oh yeah.
Till I saw Crossroads with John Mayer.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I was just
it's one of the greatest episodes of all time.
I was like, oh
yeah.
Both those, I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
And, I don't know if you ever saw this interview where, so Keith and Tim McGraw and Taylor Swift put a song out called The Highway Don't Care. I can't remember when that was, but it was like Tim sang the verses, Taylor sang the bridge, Keith played the solo. And they interviewed Tim McGraw about Keith Urban. And he just said, man, I love singing and I love writing songs, but I would do anything to be able to bend one note the way he does. Keith has so much feel when he plays. He's so into it. And that's something I've struggled with over the years, actually. I actually feel like sometimes I play guitar solos and I look back at them and I just go, okay, whoop-de-doo, dude. You're playing fast or whatever. That's fine. You got to figure out how to make that solo speak to those people. Think about a Bon Jovi song. Richie Sambora's guitar solos on Living on a Prayer are as important in that song as John's choruses that he's singing. That's the beauty of good guitar players is...
I interviewed Steve Stevens.
Oh yeah,
from Billy Idol.
Yeah,
and he said they always, I think they call it a flag at the beginning. So he wanted everyone to know what that song was going to be at the opening riff. Mm. So when you hear like Rebel Yell or White Wedding or you would know that song as soon as he hit the guitar.
Yeah,
that's kind of his
definition of a great part.
Yeah,
that's a good way to think of it. Actually, it's very smart.
I was like, yeah. Well, he actually. If you listen to my theme song, that's Steve Stevens playing guitar.
Oh, really?
Because I was using different music, and my daughter, we worked on an opening piece, and he goes, well, this is during COVID. He goes, send me the files. And I go, all right. And
So
he goes,
fun.
"No," I sent him the song, and he goes, no. I now know they're called stem files.
Yep.
And,
Stems. Yeah.
And so I did that, and then like the next morning he sends it back to me finished. And I'm like, I didn't ask him to do it. I just
And that's so funny.
and then I'll tell you a story. So I don't know anything about this. I'm like, all right, thank you. And he goes, oh, I'm not done with it. I go, no, please don't spend any more time, right? I sent it to my daughter, and because she's in Tennessee, and I go, and she goes, did he say you could use that song? And I go, I didn't ask, So I sent him a DM, and I'm like, hey, is it cool if I use, He goes, yeah. She sends me a message. Did he say you could use his name?
Totally.
And I'm like, Steve, is it cool if I use your name? Yeah. So he's super
Isn't that great?
Cool. Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, his only Grammy was, what do you think he won his Grammy for?
I don't know.
He wrote he co-wrote the theme song for Top Gun.
Wow. Yeah, I don't think I knew that.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
So, little breaks, right?
Yep.
He's recording with Billy in New York,
Mm-hmm.
and they call in a pianist, Harold Faltmeyer,
Okay.
and Harold's working on the tracks. Goes, hey, Steve, what are you doing tonight? Come on, I'm working on a soundtrack. He goes, okay. So comes over. We're gonna watch this movie. It's by this new actor, Tom Cruise. It's like 85. And he goes, okay. So they watch it, and a couple hours, put it on tape, walk away from it, thinking, well, whatever. It's the only Grammy he's ever won.
Wow.
He's co-written all those Billy Idol songs.
In that same vein, so I was telling you that I go to Chicago and I write songs with Jim Peterick from Survivor. Well, he's so proud of Eye of the Tiger, and rightly so, obviously. But he's had all these custom guitars made, and all. He's had a Tiger's workout bar made in his name. He's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And he sat down and played me stuff on the piano that kind of gives you chills. Because in addition to Eye of the Tiger, he wrote like every hit from 38 Special you've ever heard. So he's prolific writer. But for some reason, I guess throughout that whole time, and we're pretty good friends, I never really asked him like the story of Eye of the Tiger. It was just kind of like, he told me that he got the call one day and he wrote, and then one day him and I are playing, we're down in New Orleans. We're actually have you spent much time down there in New Orleans?
No.
So there's a songwriter festival I play every year that's on the other side of Lake Pontchartrain, which is Mandeville. And it's this really cool local community of songwriters down there. It's wild. They just like passionately love writing songs. And there's like it's like mini community. They play all these little coffee shops and it's super cool. And obviously the food and everything's off the charts there. So it's a great place to visit. But Jim and I are playing the showcase together of this songwriter festival. So it's kind of like the opening kickoff night and all the sponsors are there and it's a totally packed house. And I play my set and Jim plays his. And then at about 2/3 of the way through his, he goes, hey, Mark, come out and jam with me,
Yeah.
And he knows me well enough. I can just kind of follow along. So none of this was planned, He's like,
cool,
let's do Hold On Loosely, and I'm just having a blast, And then all of a sudden he starts launching into the story of Eye of the Tiger. And, again, I feel like I've heard some cool stories in my life, but he starts telling the story about Stallone calls him, leaves a message on his answering machine, that he wants this song and Jim doesn't believe it's real. He thinks it's a prank call.
Yeah.
He calls him, he can tell it's him. He's just going, I'd be honored. He goes, I'm a huge fan. I think you can make this a big hit. So he sends him like this very short clip of the movie, like 2 minutes long or something. And so Jim's there writing the tune and he's watching this 2-minute clip over and over again, trying to get some inspiration. And he's just like noodling on the guitar, just going, like just killing time, And he just couldn't come up with anything. So he called Stallone and he said, you got to send me the whole movie. And he said, I can't do that. And he's telling me this story on stage and I haven't heard anything. Yeah. And I'm going, oh, wow. And the story keeps going. But to wrap it up, he calls Stallone and he says, I need the whole movie. And he says, I can't do that. And he goes, listen, dude, you want your knockout hit. You got to give us the whole movie. And so they courier the whole movie to him. And Jim, they go right back to that pattern and they start seeing the punches getting thrown. And they were hitting their guitar going, dun, 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 you know what I mean? And like stuff like that, I'm going, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know, like as a songwriter, that's so crazy to hear stuff like that. And so anyway, then he said, you know, he heard them say, Rocky, you're losing the eye of the tiger. And they just hit stop on the movie and they had the thing written in no time. And the rest is history. But I think stuff like that is so funny. Like, would that song have ever come together if he didn't send him the
whole movie,
the short part first, and then have to, you know, it's like life's funny like that, you know?
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, like you were saying about a viral moment or whatever to have that breakout.
Yep.
It's like, you know, what makes Morgan Wallen a breakout versus a Warren Zevon or any of, I mean, they have one song that becomes, and then their artistry comes out. But there's a lot of fantastic artists.
You know, what happens is you go on the Travel Wins podcast.
Oh, shit.
And it goes viral. And tomorrow we're both worth like $100 million. Wasn't that the whole point?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's way too much money. Way too much money. I don't need that headache. I don't need it.
I don't know why I always pick extreme numbers of things, you know. It'd be easier to just say $1 million, but I have to say 100 million.
My wife and I joke is like, if we ever won the lottery or something like that.
Yeah.
No phones.
Yeah.
Like, we would lose our phones.
Totally. Yeah.
No one would have them.
You'd have nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny.
So what do you have coming up? What's you got Christmas music? You're still touring Idaho.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. We're doing a little private event for some ranchers out in Idaho tomorrow, Saturday. And then we wrap up our Gary tour in Kentucky, West Virginia, and East Tennessee, Johnson City, and some other cities. And then
near Morristown, near my daughter.
Yeah, tickets are all set, man. Yeah, send her out. And then I actually do have a little break in there where we get ready for Christmas. Where we get ready for we get ready for our Christmas tour. December's nuts for us. I mean, we're actually years ago we were doing this show up in Utah, and this guy said, "I really want you to do a Christmas show." I go, "I'd love to, man. I love Christmas. It's my favorite hot time of year." You know, he goes, "You have a Christmas record, right?" And I go, "Oh yeah, man, of course." And we did not, you know. So I just raced back to Nashville, and I'm sure you've had moments like that as a sales rep. People are like, "Well, you can do this, right?" And you're like,
Dude, 100%.
Of course. Hey man, we gotta
make this happen.
Yeah. So anyway, I go back to I go back and we make a Christmas record. It becomes like one of our great little things. So anyway, it's our third year doing it. This year now, instead of it was always kind of a West Coast thing, and this year it's coast to coast. Starts in New York and it goes all the way to California.
Oh wow.
So that's that, and then we headline. Me and Jared James Nichols, the guitarist, and CJ, the songwriter I was telling you about, and then Eric Pasley, who's written every massive song in the world. We're playing New Year's Eve in, drum roll please, State Line, Nevada.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Caesars or?
They set up a stage outside.
Oh yeah.
And they shoot the fireworks off.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man. It's cold.
Oh, dude, I know. I did one winter up there. My dad's best friend did the phone system for Heavenly.
Oh yeah.
So we got I got a pass.
Yeah.
So it was just like an annual pass. I was like, walk up.
So fun.
Hit 3 runs at the end of the day and come back.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's what we do on New Year's Eve. Actually, we make them. That's part of the deal. They have to give us tickets and we go make a lap. And
it's a good package.
Yeah, man. It's killer. So that's that. And then I'm actually, the details are just getting finalized, but I'm actually going to Santiago, Chile in January to play a festival out there.
How cool is that?
So cool. Have you ever been there?
No.
Amazing.
I would love to go to Chile.
Yeah. Come on down. So fun. I can't wait. I love it down there. I backpacked through Patagonia with Valerie, and we definitely thought it was summertime and it was wintertime down there.
So even though she's 100, she's pretty gutsy. Doing backpacking. Yeah,
she's epic. Dude, she's gnarly. You want to talk about the travel wins? That girl, when I first met her, she would we were just dating, and she'd be like, "Okay, I'm gonna go backpack Southeast Asia for a couple weeks." And you'd go, "Are you crazy by yourself?" You know, and she would just,
I'm fine.
Yeah, she would just, you know, there's like a culture there. You know, she would just load up her backpack with everything, and she just did local transport for everything. And you meet other backpackers, and you know, she has some lifelong friends out of those trips. But every night you're just waiting, like, is she going to make it to Vietnam and to call all of us and tell us that she's okay? You know what I mean? Yeah. Anyway, yeah, she's a trooper, but she likes coming on the road too. So we travel a lot together.
You know, the travel wins, I came up with that title just because I was for so many years focused on sales.
Yep.
And so I'd be stressed getting to my appointment.
Yeah.
stressed at the appointment.
Yeah.
And then if it wasn't enough, I'd be stressed coming home.
Right.
So I started doing things during the day. I always tell people I drive for a living and do meetings in between,
That's fun.
you know, and
I get it.
Yeah, I know you get it.
Yeah.
And so like I'd stop and I, let me go look at Morro Rock. I drive by it all the time.
Yep.
I have a store in SLO.
Yeah.
Let me go to Avila Beach and check it out. Let me go on the end of the pier and see the seals and all that.
Yeah.
Because I'd book in extra things if I avoided an accident on the 5 freeway.
Yep.
That was my win for the day. So I would tell myself I've already won today. So anything else is just bonus.
Gravy on top. Yep.
And so that way, now I'm going to meetings. I'm not stressed. I'm like, hey, I've avoided some really bad accidents that I'm sure everyone.
Oh yeah.
So we've seen really bad accidents.
Mm-hmm.
Big rig tires blowing off.
Oh, it's
right
crazy.
Now, yeah.
It's crazy.
Like a cannon. It's like,
I'll watch some of these drivers late at night. Like I like to drive at night. That's kind of my thing, you know. And I stay up late always. I'm just kind of on that late clock. So I try to stay on that calendar a lot. We did a whole tour with Ted Nugent, and it was like for 2 straight weeks we were just chasing his bus, trying to keep up with him, you know. Yeah. But it was like that was the drill every night. The show ended at 9. We packed up. We'd leave at 10. We would drive till 4 a.m. to the next city, and then we'd get into bed at 5:30, and we'd sleep till noon and do it all over. It's unbelievable the drivers you see on the road in the middle of the night. I love that there's not as many of them, but there are some of them that need to stop drinking alcohol before they go drive at night.
100%.
That is just, some of that is just terrifying to me. I don't drink, so I'm not one to talk, but I just look at it sometimes and go, how do you ever make it anywhere?
I drink more at NFR in that 2 weeks than I do the other 50 weeks because I don't drive when I'm there.
Right.
I work at the Horseshoe Casino.
Right.
I'm staying at the Horseshoe Casino.
Yeah.
Old Red's at the front of Horseshoe Casino.
Yeah.
I just walk.
Yeah.
But because I drive for a living, I can't get a DUI.
Yeah, totally.
I can't. It's not worth it.
Totally.
So I'm like, I don't need to get a little buzz.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've all seen it.
Isn't it wild?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But I hear you, man. I like the theory of finding your little wins for the day and being able to.
That way, if the show goes bad, you still had some wins. You made it there on time, and you talked to Valerie.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. That's a great way to think of it.
Yeah.
Because when you're traveling a lot, it's easy to not look at it optimistically like that. So that's cool.
Well, yeah, you've been behind the miles. You're like 12-hour drive.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I worked PBR at Vegas.
Yep.
And then I had to open up a store in Scottsdale the next day, and I was sick, like the flu sick. They never knew it, and they never knew it. My wife's like, you need to go home. I'm like, no, I have to go to the store opening. Like, I have to go.
Do you find that, like when you have, a particularly brutal whatever, do you find that your body lets you get through it
100%
and then just gives up at the end of it?
Yep.
Yeah.
16 years I've worked NFR. I've not come home sick once.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think about that a lot. Like, there's always like last summer we were a late ad to Sturgis in South Dakota, but the next day we were playing with Everclear in New York City. So take that one, right? So you're in the Black Hills.
Yeah. Where'd you fly out of?
We went back to Denver.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Right. So that's exactly my point, right? It was like there wasn't a flight out of Rapid City that would get us there in time. Because Sturgis is going on, the rental cars were $9 million. So we kind of had to do the trip out of Denver. And both of those shows were great shows. So you don't want to pass on them. You just want to figure out how to make it happen, But it's like a week out, because we have like a tour app that keeps all the travel and everything together. And you can tell all the bands kind of looking, going, okay, there's always like one weekend that tries to kill all of us. And, it was obvious that was the one, and it was like, you can feel all of us are kind of looking at it going, okay, like make sure you're rested here. And it was like, it let us fight through the whole thing. And then the minute that last show was over, it was like, everybody was like borderline unconscious.
Yeah.
But
we always get through it.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
That's funny, dude. I hear you. Yeah. It's wild.
Well, I appreciate it. What's the best way for my listeners to see what you got coming up?
Man, if you go to my website, it's markmackayofficial.net.
MACKAY.
Yep. MACKAY. markmackayofficial.net. And then on Instagram, I'm Mark Mackay. Facebook, I'm Mark Mackay Official. TikTok, I'm Mark Mackay Official. And YouTube, I'm Mark Mackay Official.
Nice.
But yeah, man, all those, all that stuff's intertwined now. So you could go to Spotify and you can see the tour dates. You can go wherever.
Well, then I'll have all your links on my
Cool.
website as well. So
Awesome.
I'll just link on over to you.
Yeah, it was really fun chatting with you.
What's going on with Iron and Resin?
Oh yeah, we just had a collaboration T-shirt come out together.
How cool is that?
They're awesome. Yeah, they're a brand out of Ventura. They're kind of like they're really like, they're my favorite company. They're like part motorcycle meets fashion meets surfer. You know, so it's got this kind of California vibe about it, but there's so many cool denim products and that kind of stuff. So anyway, I met one of the owners and we just hit it off, and I've always wanted to collaborate with a clothing brand. So
that's cool.
Yeah, man, we just had the shirt come out. We just did a little release for it in Denver, but there'll be more, but really fun stuff.
Is that the merch you'll be selling at your events?
So this was like a limited edition run we did. They have some in their store. They're carrying some in the store, but
It's in Ventura?
I don't know if they have any in Ventura. They definitely have some in their Denver store because that's where we did the event.
There for a t-shirt?
No, I know. I need to get
Ventura,
you on.
I would.
Yeah. I was thinking about jetting up there tomorrow, actually.
To Ventura?
Yep. Yeah, just to go see those guys. That's like where their headquarters are.
Yeah, the wharf. I have an account right there off Ocean.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I love it up there.
It's pretty awesome. My sister lives in Santa Barbara area, Goleta. So
I hate to go on record and say this, but I think that is the last epic place in California. Is that Santa Barbara area?
You can say that because most people can't afford it and they're not building new homes.
Totally.
So.
Totally.
Yeah, it's like Camarillo. I mean, they're not building new homes there. It's very difficult.
Wow.
To convert something from agricultural to residential or commercial,
it
has to go through a public vote.
Oh, good luck with that.
Never happened.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah.
Lost cause.
Yeah.
That's funny, dude. Well, it's
You're
fun.
about an hour away from Ventura. You get up there.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah.
Hour for me, dude. That's like for you too. That's like an evening commute.
I have 2 accounts in San Diego and Del Mar.
Mm-hmm.
That's a day trip.
Totally.
Like I remember living, that was like all the way to San Diego.
I know. I feel bad sometimes for people that like come on the road with us for stuff where like we're just so like something would have to be more than 6 hours for any of us to not want to get that over with. Like if a show was done 100%. and the next thing was 6 hours away, we're like, dude, we're out of here. We're going. Yeah. And then in a day, it would have to be at least 12 before I would go, I don't know if I want to do it. Yeah, you know what I mean? But like 12 hours is like, which is insane. I can't even believe it as I say that out loud, that's become the norm. But,
I've done day trips to Slow and back.
There you go.
Yeah, for one meeting.
Yep.
6 hours of driving.
But think about all the phone calls you're making along the way. And, you get some windshield time there to think about stuff. And
say hi to my sister.
Yeah. You can pop in and try.
You make wins along the way.
I love that. Yeah. I love that. Yeah.
You're the same way, right? It's like when you
totally.
drive,
Totally.
You can listen to new songs. You can come up with new songs, sing into your recorder. Mm-hmm. Maybe for me, a lot of times I'll just turn off everything.
Yeah.
An hour.
I know. Sometimes I found myself doing that a lot lately. I feel like it's just music overload, news overload these days. Yeah. I do find myself just driving in silence and just like thinking about stuff. The other thing I do a lot, I don't know, this probably sounds crazy, but a lot of times, like if I have to go somewhere, like say it's north and it's in the vicinity of Indianapolis. I'm just using this as an example. Well, there's like a Portillo's hot dogs in Indianapolis 100%. That I love. So it's like, I like really look forward to that. That's my win, exactly. And I'll catch up on stuff on the phone. I'm so freaking excited to have that sandwich, and then you go out and there's like little pockets of that all over the country where there's just like something like the Iron and Resin store in Denver. I'll go out of my way if it means I can go snag a new shirt and say hi to those guys. And you know what I mean? But it's just, you start to get your little things that you love. And
I have a buddy, he was on the show, but he was my friend from high school. He has an app on his phone for all the craft breweries throughout the country.
That's awesome.
And it keeps track of the ones, so he never goes back to the same one.
Yeah.
And he goes to Chicago a lot.
Yeah.
And so he'll hit all the different craft breweries.
There you go. That's so fun.
Yeah.
I love stuff like that. I know you definitely have to, like, I took my parents on a road trip during COVID that they didn't really want to go on. Not for like, I didn't mean it like, it wasn't a COVID thing. It was just, they were just like, I don't feel like, they're really not road trip people. But I was like, look, you guys got to go see Yellowstone and Jackson Hole. This is like my, I'm there all the time. I go there at least once a year. You got to go. And it's funny, like it's so, my mom and dad's mentality is like, they want to They just want to like get in the car, get where they're going, and be done. And I'm not really like in a rush in those scenarios, like, so it was just funny, like for my dad, like stopping at one of those massive Maverick gas stations on the side of the road,
Get into a Buc-ee's.
Yeah, my mom loves Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
That's an even better example. Yeah. Something like that, like those. When I go to Florida to play a show down there, half the fun is looking forward to stopping at the Buc-ee's and getting a brisket sandwich. And
we stopped at both of them on the way to we flew into Nashville and drove over to Morristown.
Yeah.
We stopped at both of them.
Totally. Yeah, they're awesome.
The one was, dude, weekends are rough there.
Very rough.
There was a line just to get on the road to get to the driveway to get in.
I had a band member who used to drink a lot. I don't mean that like he had any problem. He was always, he loved to get wasted, And I remember one night we were like driving through Texas and someone's like, hey, I think there's a Buc-ee's coming up. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he was like, Mark, have you never heard of Buc-ee's? I'm going, what is it? And he's like, this is how he describes it to me. He goes, oh, dude, you're like gonna love it. So Buc-ee's, like, first of all, they got like 900 gas stations or gas pumps. And then inside, you could buy whatever you want. You could buy like a Red Bull or a cookie or a Traeger barbecue or what. And I'm just going, what is he talking about?
He wasn't lying.
No, then I walk in and I go, oh, I get it. It's like Costco meets AM/PM. It's like incredible, Yeah.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
I had a guest tell me about it. I'd never been to one.
Oh, yeah.
And because we were talking about clean bathrooms. Right? Mm-hmm. It's like, that's a big issue.
Oh, they're the best bathrooms on the road.
And they have the best. He goes, you got to stop.
Yeah.
And then I drove flew into Nashville and started driving it. And 98 miles is the Buc-ee's, and then 48 miles is the Buc-ee's, and 37 miles is the
I know,
Buc-ee's.
They're so good about teasing it, and it's just,
Dude, if you drive out to Palm Springs on the 10.
Tells you how far to the next one?
1,347 miles.
Epic.
It's in Texas.
Epic. That's so funny. Yeah. I love that. I saw a great meme on TikTok this morning that was like it was like I forget what it was captioned, but it was a parody of Trump rebuilding that ballroom in the White House right now, and it was like they attached Buc-ee's to the side of the White House. It was awesome. Yeah, some people's heads exploding. Yeah, so funny. Yeah, man. But yeah, we'll I'm sure we'll cross paths again. It's
appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's great meeting you.
Yeah, man. Same to you.
Kathy got us hooked up.
She's the best.
Yeah.
Love her.
She's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again for the time, and I'm looking for a show. I guess got to do an LA show.
Yeah, we will, and you'll be there when we do.
Guaranteed. Well, if I'm in town.
Yeah,
I've had that a couple times.
That'll be your travel win for the day.
Dude,
Mark got you free tickets to your show.
I don't got to pay.
Come on.
No. I mean, I interviewed Maxi Priest, reggae singer, and he was the second opening act. So it was Big Mountain, Maxi Priest, who was Grammy nominated, then the Wailers, and then UB40 was the headliner. It was at the Bowl.
Where was this?
At the Bowl.
Oh, wow.
And so I interviewed Keno, the lead singer of Big Mountain, and Maxi.
Yep.
So I wanted to get there early, and I paid for my ticket. So I call Maxi and I go, hey, he goes, they're being really tight with getting backstage and all that, the Bowl. And I go, no, don't worry, I'll say hi to you some other time, And he goes, well, I got your tickets. I go, no, I already bought them.
No,
I'm not about free tickets. I mean, they're nice. Like,
that's
Cowboy
nice.
Troy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've known Troy for 15 years. He was my second guest.
Oh, cool.
We sponsored him.
How fun.
Roper.
That's cool. Oh, yeah, of course.
And he hooked me up one time.
Through Roper?
Yeah.
Oh, do you know Joe Nichols as well?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I play a ton with him.
Yeah.
I'm playing with him in January.
Yeah. So he comes to my booth.
Yeah.
Both of them. And they sign autographs at the rodeo.
Oh. So I signed in the Roper booth at CMA Fest.
CMA, yeah.
Yeah. Fascinating.
I don't get to do that. But so Troy. Yeah. Troy comes, signs autographs, and we're hey, let's get dinner. And he goes, we're playing tonight with Big and Rich.
Yep.
Opening for Toby Keith.
Yep.
And I go, are there tickets left? And he goes, let me see. And I go, no. Are they available? I'll buy a ticket. It's one ticket.
Yeah.
And he goes, so he goes, I'm not sure. Let me find out. And he hooked me up, right? So I go, dude, I didn't want a free ticket. And he goes, you're on the list. Come. I'm like, all right. So I go there, and I'm like, yeah, I'm supposed to get a ticket. And he goes, oh, yeah. You wristband, the whole thing. And we start, and I'm in the pit, like on the left side of the stage. I'm like, oh my God.
Epic, huh?
Yeah.
And that's so fun.
And Toby comes over and sings right over me.
Oh, yeah. It's so fun, dude.
Thing.
That stuff is so memorable.
Yeah. And then, and Troy, I'm like, dude,
That's awesome.
Let's go to dinner.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have you been into Old Reds in Vegas?
Yeah.
So it was a pretty neat experience. I went last year, the first time, but it just opened. I'm with Troy and Presley Tennant, who's a country singer, who's singing, and they have the same PR people. And so I'm with Troy, and we're hanging out, and his song, "Play Chick with the Trains," gold records on the wall behind the bar.
How fun.
And he's just like, dude, that's so cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know,
So awesome.
It'd be good experiences for you.
Oh yeah, totally.
Get out there, man.
I know. Yeah, there was a reason we couldn't do it this year. I actually at one point thought we were going to join Gary on that show, but he's doing the Win this year, and they don't allow openers. They keep it as an evening with.
Yeah.
But
well, I know that Lil Cash used to play at the Mirage all the time, and that's gone now.
Yep. Gosh, that's right.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that Hard Rock's going to be a great hotel.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it used to be off the Strip.
Yep.
And my wife's friend used to manage the day club there. It was nuts.
Totally nuts. Yeah, we played the Joint there once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you see there?
Hopefully somebody awesome, because that venue rules.
Yeah, it'll come to me. But yeah, I saw somebody. It was phenomenal. That's a neat little venue too.
It is. That's like the sweet spot for venue size.
Yeah.
Like that feels like you're playing an arena,
But it's not.
but it's not. You know?
Because last year, Chris Stapleton opened for George Strait at the Raiders Stadium, and there were people coming in, and I go, and they were dressed up nice during the day, buying stuff, and they go, God, we had no idea this was going on. I go, why would you come to Vegas? They go, we flew from Canada to see George Strait with Chris Stapleton. I'm like, you flew down, not knowing that this was going on. I'm like, okay.
Man, I mean, I do. Before I was like a touring guy, like when I was just a music fan, I remember I flew to Vegas a few times to see Bon Jovi. Like you just, I don't know. This is Vegas is a city where, I mean, I know that seems like quite I don't even want to know what they paid for those tickets. I mean, you think about that. It's probably like a $5,000 trip to do that. You know what I mean? Easily.
I wanted to see you too at the Spheres. The cheapest ticket was $550. Like, what?
Yeah, and probably still an epic seat though.
It doesn't matter. Like $550.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money for one concert.
Yeah. That place is certainly reshaping the game. But
yeah, have you been in there yet?
Nope,
I haven't either. I'm gonna go this year. That's my
the
goal.
Eagle show looks amazing.
Yeah.
I know Kenny Chesney's is coming up, or just did it, and then Zach Brown's is coming up too. But I feel like that's going to be the future of like sort of the legacy artist getting a chance to really I'm talking on a very small scale about making that transition from opener to headliner. That's like the transition of like opener to like household. That's not even right, because they're all household names, but I just mean like from opener to like established legacy in history kind of thing. You know what I mean?
You too. It's gonna be, they did a big Grateful Dead show there. My friend's a big fan.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, John Mayer was doing a good job with those guys. It's cool. Dead and Company. Yeah, it's cool, man.
So we'll get you out there.
Yeah, we need to do that. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
We need to do that. Yeah, I love it out there. Love it.
Thanks for your time, bro.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
That'd be good.
Yeah. Appreciate it.